These females are
Strong as hell. Females are strong as hell.
Females. Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view,
Vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view. Vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too. Howdy ho there, listener, and welcome to Vow to View, a Daily Planet podcast all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together, we're the Dailies.
What's the accent today, babe?
Howdy ho there, neighbor.
Not really.
No?
No.
I thought it was pretty good.
It was weird.
Why was that weird?
It was just weird.
No, it wasn't. It was on spot.
Well, anyway, as you said, this is the show where each week we pick a movie or TV show or something and we force each other to watch it and hopefully learn a little bit about our spouses and love and marriage.
About each other.
There you go. About each
We're
other.
learning about each other.
There you go. We're learning about each other.
That's not a real song yet, but maybe I'll write it one day.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You do that, babe. You write that song.
I will. I'll write that song.
This week on the show, we are celebrating, Elyse,
What are we celebrating, Scott?
the summertime.
What? It's not summer yet. It will be tomorrow. Maybe by the time that you listen to this, I will be on summer break if you listen to it past noon Central Standard Time.
Why you gotta ruin my celebration by critiquing it?
I'm sorry.
It's the summertime.
I'm
You
sorry.
have half a
It's
day
the
left.
summertime. I know. I walked into a Pure Bar today, and one of the teachers, that's one of the Pure Bar teachers that also works in a school, she goes, "Congratulations!" And I said, "Thanks. For what?" She goes, "It's summer." I said, "We have half a day left tomorrow."
Why you gotta do that to people?
And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Now you made her feel bad. You couldn't have just said thank you. That was very kind of you.
But then we had a nice conversation about the end of school and about my kiddos. It was a good chat.
All right, so
We've
got two.
Much like this chat is going to be. It's a good
gonna
chat.
be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
We've got two excellent movies to talk about.
Fantastic movies.
But first, we have to do something.
What do we have to do?
We have to do something that I promised you I would let you do.
Oh, yes.
So here we go.
So I really
You have
Mhm.
5 minutes.
Wait, before this starts, can I just say that I almost tried to figure out a way to make it so that this episode was actually themed towards The Bachelorette, which is now back. But instead, you're just letting me do this. So every week, you guys, as well as Scott, are going to be subjected to The Bachelorette news. Yay! I'm so excited.
What are we calling this segment, Elyse?
I have this thing with alliteration, so I hadn't quite figured out the name. I thought you had just dubbed it the Bachelorette Corner, but I was thinking about Bachelorette Blurb, Bachelorette Babble. I don't know. We'll just kind of see what works.
Okay.
Is the Bachelorette Barf?
Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Bachelorette Barf? Do you like that best?
Elyse barfs the Bachelorette. Yeah.
Elyse Barf's the Bachelorette.
That's perfect.
Much of like what I did this week, too. I got the bug that Scott gave me.
All right,
That
Elyse.
Scott had. Okay.
And I'm timing you.
Okay, it may not take all of 5 minutes.
I hope it doesn't, but
Yeah.
And go.
Okay, so this week was the very first episode of The Bachelorette, which means that it had not a lot happen at all. Basically, what happens on the show is that they start filming at probably sundown, which in California during the summer, I have no idea what it would be. Like maybe 9 o'clock. Maybe that's why they have to wait so late and it ends so early the next morning. So they start filming and it's just basically all these dudes come up in a limo and they have their night one conversations. And of course they start the night one drama hashtag not here for the right reasons, which is always a thing of every single whatever season. I think that what really happens is it's just these producers that are feeding people these same lines like, So do you think that he's like not here for the right reasons?
Wait, are you trying to say that The Bachelorette is not reality?
Oh no, reality TV is just not really reality TV. I think Survivor might be the closest to actual reality TV, but you know, I don't really think that it's super reality TV.
So The Bachelorette this year is Becca.
Is Becca.
Becca.
And you know, Becca was not my favorite. I liked Becca, Pixie
Cut.
and I really liked Kendall. I thought that they had a great personality, and I feel like the only reason that they chose this Becca was because she got dumped. And the only reason that she got dumped the way that she did was because the TV show wanted to set it up so she could be the Bachelorette, and they would have like this big huge like, after she was dumped on live TV by Ari, now she's back to find love. And people would care about it, and people really don't care about her. She's really kind of boring. So the only reason that I'm really watching this is so I can hopefully find out who the next Bachelor is going to be. But then they might pull a thing like they did last time and make it someone like Ari, who was in the franchise, who no one liked Ari. No one liked Ari at all. Anyway, so going back to the show about this week. So all the guys get out of the limo. All the guys have their little ways that they're going to introduce themselves.
And they're all cringeworthy and awful.
And they're all
terrible.
orchestrated by producers. None of them came up with that stuff originally. Like, no. Like, who thinks, oh, I'm going to drive up in a hearse, and then I'm going to pop out and I'm going to say, Becca, as soon as I realized that was you, I literally died. Like, that's so corny. And I know corny pickup lines because, hello, I married you, and that's how we met. But, you know, it's something different between me thinking that you, like, actually came up with it on your own and knowing that a producer came up with it. And she knows that producers came up with this because she was on the other end of it. So I don't understand, like, why some of these things work.
Why do you watch this show if you clearly hate it so much?
It's just like that crash that you can't get your eyes away from. I don't know.
It's 2 hours of your life a week that you will never get back, and you don't even enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I just enjoy all the drama. I enjoy watching it. But it's not real.
Anyways, so, you know, I like the hearse thing. Ugh. It was kind of funny, I guess. There's the guy dressed up as the chicken who was Becca. That ended up being Becca, which was kind of funny too. She gave the rose to Garrett, who is from Nevada, and he was the one that like had this really intense opening intro package or whatever, and he did this weird voice. I was like, oh gosh. And then he's the one that got the first impression rose. There's a lot of football players. There's a guy that looks like Fabio with his hair, and he's a stunt man. And Busy Phillips, I was watching her Instagram stories. She's like, I think I've seen him. Like, I think that he's been at this coffee shop. Like, I definitely know him. Mike, did we see this guy? It was just really kind of funny. Because you know that they're all on it just for their own publicity. How much time do I got?
I actually forgot to start recording, so you're out of time.
Oh, well, anyways, so the first impression rose went to Garrett. I was actually kind of sad that Joe the grocery man didn't get to have a rose. I thought he was kind of nice, but evidently I was watching some stuff back and he was supposedly like super self-conceited. I don't know. I guess I totally missed that. I thought he was kind of a cute, nice little handsome guy. Seemed kind of wholesome. But anyways, we'll see where it goes. You know, they showed the whole season preview and, you know, the last 5 minutes. And, man, it's going to be the most dramatic season ever.
Okay, they say that every time.
But it always is. Chris says, I know I say this every time. It's always the most dramatic. But seriously, this is the most dramatic season ever. I don't know why I go Southern when I do that, but I do.
That was supposed to be Southern?
No, I don't really know what it was. But anyways, that's that. Elyse just buffed up the Bachelorette.
Yeah, it's bad. This first, like, none of the guys are distinctive enough. I don't remember any of them at all. I watched this thing for 2 hours and I feel like nothing happened and it was terrible.
You know, Allie Reisman, one of her old boyfriends, is on the show.
I don't know who that is.
Olympic gymnast.
Okay, great.
Hello.
Cool.
Yep.
Don't care.
Pretty cool. Okay. So, Scott, thanks for letting me barf up some Bachelorette.
That was Elyse barfing up the Bachelorette.
And on the same page as the Bachelorette, we're going to do this week's Rose and Thorn.
Yeah, we've decided to make this a weekly thing because
Yeah.
it's a great little mini conversation to have before we get into talking movies the whole time.
Yeah, so what's your rose for this week, Scott?
My rose
what was
this
a good
week
thing that happened?
is Unbreakable Kimmy
Unbreakable.
Schmidt.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to Unbreakable.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 4 came out yesterday, or the day
We're
before.
already on episode 5 out of 6.
Out of 6. It's only the half of the season. I love this show so much. I think it's one of the most hilarious shows out there. In fact, I love it so much that sometimes I'm laughing so hard I have to pause the show because I don't want to miss the next joke because I'm laughing too hard.
I think what's brilliant about this show is that it is not just the dialogue. It is like the jokes are in the props.
Yeah,
the
the
jokes
set
are in the
decoration
set.
is so good.
The jokes are just in just the actors and how they choose to deliver the lines. It is just completely brilliant.
Titus Andromedon is the most hilarious character
is.
in recent comedy. Like I can't think of a character I like more than him.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
so funny. It's so good. The show never stops being good. And it also like explores like trauma and living with trauma in these really subtle, brilliant ways. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 4 out now on Netflix. That is my rose. What is your rose?
Tonight is my last school night for quite some time, and tomorrow is the summer.
It's a pretty good
I'm
rose.
so excited. Yeah, it's a really good rose. I get a summer break. This is the first year in however many years I'm not teaching summer school. I'm not tutoring, even though I've thought about it. And then I was like, you know what? Nope. I'm not going to reply to these tutoring emails.
Nope.
I'm just going to take the summer for me. And so, yeah, I am excited. It is about to be the summer, which, you know, means you're going to be happier because I'm happier and everybody loves Summer Elyse.
I'm gonna make
Elyse
Elyse
is the
start,
best Elyse.
I'm gonna make Elyse start editing these.
Yeah,
So
because I'm going to start.
Summer Elyse is
going to
gonna
be part
edit
of
these.
my goal for teaching next
Yep.
year is going to include probably a classroom podcast.
Didn't you have something else though that you wanted to share?
Oh, so today I found out that one of my kids evidently has like this rap alter ego. He was signing all the yearbooks.
For those of you that don't know, these are 11-year-old children.
Yeah.
They're 5th grade.
Yeah. He was signing everybody's yearbook, and then underneath he wrote hashtag Jackrap Nation. And he kept on going, Jackrap Nation! And I was like, what in the world is this? And so today he came up to show me this like presentation that they were working on. And I just you know, decided to ask about it. So what's this Jackrap Nation? And he was like, oh yeah, I'm a rapper. And so I commissioned him to write me a rap song afterwards about me. And he did. And it was like a page long. It was just little. And then while this whole thing was going on, I was like, I should record this. I should record it and put it on our podcast because we're recording a podcast tonight. How much fun would that be? And then I texted Scott, and then another kid was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna write a rap and we're gonna battle it out and we're gonna see whose is the best. And so then I texted Scott and I was like, I think I might have 2. Can we put a rap battle on? And so we had a rap battle in class today. It's the day before the last day of school. What are we really doing here anyway? So yeah, I guess that kind of goes in with the summer thing. Rap battle. Summer.
Yeah.
What?
I think
I had a rap battle before the summer starts. Oh,
my God.
Oh.
Wow.
What?
So yeah, we have those files, and I think we're gonna stick them at the end of the show. So
The end? Okay.
if you want to hear some children rap,
I mean, I was actually surprised. They did it better than I thought they were gonna do.
so we got a couple children's raps, and then Elyse.
what, Scott?
Nothing.
Nothing. We'll tease that for the end.
Okay.
I think you guys will really want to listen to the whole thing.
Okay.
Wink, wink.
I guess I wasn't supposed to tell about.
It's a surprise.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So what's your thorn? What happened that was bad this week?
My thorn was that my wife got sick.
Oh, that was so sweet.
My wife got sickly.
I did. I was really sick.
I had a tummy bug last Monday, and it apparently is a bug that incubates for 7 days because 1 week later, Elyse woke up in the morning and felt exactly like I did.
Did not have a good Tuesday.
It knocked Elyse out for a whole day, too.
An unintended 4-day weekend.
Yeah. It's really great to just slide into the summer with a nice long weekend.
Yeah.
Man,
that was really bad.
I felt so bad for you, and I know how you felt the week before when there was literally nothing I could do except get you soup and
I mean, you know that it's bad when I miss a day of school, because I was talking to my principal and she was like, Elyse, I knew it was bad because you missed a day for being sick, and you don't miss days for being sick. I said, yeah, I know. Yeah. I come for everything except there was one other time, and that was a stomach bug too.
So that was my thorn.
Oh, thanks. That was so sweet.
What was yours?
My thorn was an actual thorn in my foot. We're moving, all of this stuff out of our school for the refurbishment. And I guess one of the wooden carts that we put all our books on or something, I don't know, had a wood chip come off of it. And somehow it got in my sandal and completely was vertical. And my foot kind of came up and it just slammed down on the heel. And I thought that it was a tiny thumbtack, a tiny staple, a tiny screw, something of that nature was in my shoe, because I have never felt that level of pain on my foot before. It was not. It was just this tiny little splinter, but I still feel like there's something in my foot. Like it's still painful to walk on my heel.
And then you put your foot in a bowl of water.
Yeah, you got to soak out the splinter when it's stuck too far in the foot.
I've literally never heard of this in my entire life.
I think soaking out the splinter when it's stuck too far into the skin is completely acceptable. It's like when you soak a pimple so that the head will come out.
I have gotten so many splinters in my life and was never told to soak it. I actually, back in Kingston, New York, where my grandparents are from, there was a playground at an apartment complex that was like across a field from my grandparents' house. Mm-hmm. And we used to walk over there, and the playground, there was a slide, and it was an old slide. The slide was metal, but the sides of the slide were wood.
That doesn't make sense. Why would you do that?
I don't know. But stupid 7-year-old Scott.
Stupid Scott.
As he slid down the slide, put his hands on the side of the slide.
Oh my gosh.
And my hands were covered in splinters.
Oh.
Covered. I remember my mom just sitting me in the bathroom at my grandparents' house and just pulling out splinter after splinter after splinter. It was so
oh my gosh.
awful.
I just literally tensed up all over.
So I am a splinter expert, and I've never heard anything about soaking them. Not that I don't believe you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, well, now you have.
Well, did it work?
Well, the splinter's gone. So it came out.
Splinter
soap.
That's from it's from Ninja Turtles.
Ah, yes.
Splinter.
That movie that I've seen before now.
All right, those are our Rose and Thorns for the week. We did the Bachelor Barf. We did the Roses and Thorns.
Roses and thorns.
We're going to do some...
Every rose has a thorn.
We're going to do a jingle, but it's not going to be that. It'll be something better than that.
Okay, well, you come up with it then.
I will, after the show. But right now, let's move on to our movies. Let's get to the main event. Let's talk about camp movies. Elyse,
Beverly Hills, what a thrill. Beverly Hills. Yeah.
Elyse, what movie did you pick?
Troop Beverly Hills, reporting for duty. I said duty.
What is this movie? Tell me what this movie is.
So Troop Beverly Hills is when the divorced Beverly Hills socialite is determined to prove to her husband and herself that she can finish what she starts out to do by becoming a den mother to a troop of Beverly Hills Girl Scouts. And while this movie is not about summer camp, and I know that our theme was summer camp, I did choose this because they go camping in the wilderness,
They
and
do
I figure
that.
it's a group of people going and surviving in the wilderness like you would do when you are camping. So it's close enough to being a camp movie because it's about the camaraderie. They do try and have a camp out, and it just doesn't work for them because they only do is really go glamping. And so it's just it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it.
Why did you pick this movie?
Because you'd seen all the other camp movies that I had seen. And so I was trying to think of other movies, and I was like, oh, it's not really a camp movie, but it's a camp movie, so we're going to watch it because I can make you. And I did.
That's it?
Yeah.
You got no stories about this movie?
I mean, I watched it with my family.
This is going to be a very short podcast.
Why?
Because we're supposed to be talking about the
movies. We got the ultimate
movies.
rap battle, Scott. What?
We're supposed to be talking about the movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do really like the movie. I've always thought it was funny.
Who stars in the movie?
Shelley Long. She's hilarious.
Who's
She's
Shelley
the Beverly
Long?
socialite. Who's Shelley Long? Shelley Long.
Come
What
on.
has Shelley Long been in?
Cheers.
Cheers. You're rewatching all of Cheers.
I am.
And then Craig T. Nelson was the husband
Coach.
who
Couple of sitcom
Coach.
stars swooping
he also
in here.
man, if you guys have not watched Parenthood, you need to watch Parenthood.
We're not here to talk about Parenthood.
Yeah, we're here to talk about Parenthood, the best TV show that was a representation of family life.
This is one of those late 80s, early 90s kids movies that
It came out the year I was born.
is almost not really about the kids.
No, it's not about the kids at all. It's about Phyllis Neffler.
But it's supposed to be about the kids.
No. I mean, the woman is self-absorbed, so the movie's being self-absorbed as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
The kids get they each get their own individual scene that basically sets up their basic character.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one that's the actor. There's the one whose dad
is a dictator.
Yeah, one of them, his dad's a literal Asian dictator or something, and they never say what country he's from or why he's in America.
Interesting.
He's just, do I call you Mr. Dictator or Dick? There's Carla Gugino's in this movie.
Yeah, an 18-year-old playing a 12-year-old.
Yeah, I was like, I know she's way. Carla Gugino. I actually met her at Fantastic Fest this year.
Why did you not talk to her about Troop Beverly Hills?
Because Elyse.
Why did she not talk about Troop Beverly Hills?
Because in the before time, back in September, when I was happy, I didn't know this movie existed.
You're not happy anymore?
I'm kidding.
We had our first year anniversary in between.
Oh my god, I was kidding. The point is,
You're not happy
I was
anymore?
at Fantastic Fest and she was premiering her movie Gerald's Game, which is a great movie.
I remember you talking about that movie.
And yeah, so I saw her in this movie and I was like, wow, that's a young Carla Gugino. And she didn't really have a very big role in this because none of the kids
Her parents
do.
forgot her birthday.
Yeah, her parents forgot her birthday. All the children in this movie are just a vehicle for Shelley Long's character to become a better person and therefore win over her husband.
Yeah, basically so. But it's so much fun to watch.
Is it though?
I think it is.
I did not like this movie.
What?
I thought this was a bad movie.
It's not that bad.
This is not good. It's very silly. It's very there was these movies that I remember seeing as a kid, these early 90s kids movies that are just all kind of the same. I mean, they have different settings, but
The story is the same.
The movement of the story is the same. It's very standard boring story structure. I don't find any of the characters very interesting. Of course she gets together with her husband at the end of this because in the world of the movies, divorce, it doesn't ever actually happen, even though halfway through the movie he decides he's going to get remarried and then that falls apart behind the scenes.
Well, when she turns that new leaf.
Yeah, when she becomes a den mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all that she needed to do. And no one understands her because...
was put aside her selfish nature and do something for someone else.
It is such an 80s movie that it is a movie about how the rich socialite that can afford anything is ostracized by the community and has to prove her worth in this community.
True.
I mean, that's so 80s. It's like, oh, woe is me, the poor rich lady that lives in Beverly Hills. No one takes us Beverly Hills rich people seriously.
Nobody does.
Aww.
The Wilderness Girls did not take that troop seriously.
Yeah,
they had to prove themselves to be true Wilderness Girls.
Those poor rich kids. They don't get any badges. It's quintessential like 80s. It's like the poor downtrodden rich people.
Have I told everyone on my story about how I thought I was rejected from the Girl Scouts, but I really wasn't?
Your mom just didn't want you to be in Girl Scouts.
Yeah, so she never called the troop back and never told me about it and let me live that
story.
lie for a long time.
I think that is an underrated parenting technique, and if we ever have children, we're going to do that one.
But then that whole time I was like, I wanted to be in Girl Scouts and they never wanted me. Why did Girl Scouts never want me? I thought it was supposed to accept everybody. What did I do wrong?
Sometimes the troop just fills up, babe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sometimes.
And then I watched Troop Beverly Hills and I'm like, that's all I ever wanted to be.
Maybe that's why you picked this, because
maybe
you
that's why
have
subconsciously.
severe emotional damage.
You know, it's not severe. I just like to bring it up all the time. So, you know, maybe it's kind of severe. It's really not. I'm fine.
Dad,
I mean,
can I go to pony camp? I'm sorry. They rejected you. Can we go to California for the summer? I'm sorry, we filled out the permits and
they're not allowing Texans anymore.
They're just not going to allow you in. I mean, this is a good parenting device. We need to remember this thing.
Can we go to the water park?
No.
You're not tall enough this year.
We sent in your application and they looked at it and they said, not water park material. Oh, sorry.
You burn too easily in the sunlight. They said no sun exposure for you.
My skin. They'll be fine. Your skin, on the other hand,
I burn.
Doomed.
I'm a lobster. There was one time when we went on vacation to Key West and I thought that I put on waterproof sunscreen. I did not. I was blistered. If I get skin cancer when I'm older, it's because of the Key West. It was like the worst trip. I didn't get to go outside anymore. I didn't want to go in the water at all. And it happened within the first few days of us going. That was the year that my cousin had gotten married. And so we went to Disney World, or we went to Destin, then Disney World, and then we went down to Key West. And it was the last little bit. And I remember it being so bad in the car ride too on the way back. Because I was so blistered. I had to just keep putting aloe vera on. It was, horrible.
Well, that's what you get.
I guess so.
I'm
glad that you didn't really like them, or not glad.
You're glad that I didn't really like the movie?
I'm sorry that you didn't really like the movie. Well, I'm not really sorry. I'm glad you got to watch it. That's what I meant to mean. I'm glad that you watched the movie.
They sold 4,000 boxes of cookies by standing in front of gyms and selling them to people trying to lose weight. This is great lessons we're teaching our children.
Yeah. Or maybe they just burned off so many calories they could eat the cookies.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else we want to say about Troop Beverly Hills? This has not been a very long conversation.
Never been to Beverly Hills.
Well, you don't just go to Beverly Hills.
Never been to Rodeo Drive.
You haven't?
Nope. Huh. You never took me. The time that we went to California was the only time I'd ever been to California. Huh. And you never took me
Guess
there.
we're going to have to go. We have to hit all the big
I guess
spots.
so. You'll have to buy me something from every store I go into.
That's not going to happen. All right, so that is Troop Beverly Hills. It is available on, where did we watch this thing? Amazon?
Some sort of
it was on Amazon
streaming service.
For $4. Shelley Long, maybe you should have stayed
on. It was worth all $4.
Maybe you should have stayed on Cheers, Shelley.
Could you buy a box of cookies or rent the movie? Which do you want? I guess I'd probably buy the cookies. Get the cookies. But Girl Scout cookies are not for sale anymore right now, so I guess you got to buy the movie to rent. Rent the movie.
All right. So we're going to take a break, and when we will come back, it's time to switch gears a little bit here. Wow. No. That's better. We'll be right back.
The girls and I talked about this, and we came up with some great ideas to get the whole community involved. For example,
That's Ferris Bueller.
I thought it was Blank Check.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. It's definitely Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
And Blank Check. Okay, and we're back.
Which one do you think came out first?
Blank Check.
Okay. It is time to talk about my camp movie, a movie that takes place at an actual camp. No, that's Jesus. That's not it.
Yeah, so Scott, what movie did you pick?
Friday the 13th.
We did not watch it on a Friday. We did not watch it on the 13th.
We did not.
We did watch it at nighttime, which is when you should watch all scary movies, or if you're Elyse, when you should not watch all scary movies, but that's okay.
Yeah, this is the 1980 version, the original movie written by Victor Miller and Sean S. Cunningham, directed by Sean S. Cunningham. Fun fact, out of all of the Friday the 13th movies, this is the only one they did.
Is that because they were killed?
No, I think they just didn't want to make the movies anymore. Cunningham,
because they weren't any good.
Cunningham was a producer. Actually, the thing about these movies is the first one is not one of the best ones.
Yeah. The first movie's the worst one.
So this is about
a series like this.
A group of camp counselors that are stalked and murdered by an unknown assailant while trying to reopen a summer camp years before. That years before was the site of a child's drowning. That child, of course,
Jason.
Jason Voorhees, who is not actually a character in this movie. Everyone thinks Friday the 13th, and they think Jason in the hockey mask. Jason in the hockey mask, not in Friday the 13th, the first one.
You know, you say everyone thinks Friday the 13th, they think Jason in a hockey mask. You're going to be so upset at me as soon as I say this.
Go ahead.
I did not even know that the Jason from Freddy vs. Jason was the Jason in anything that was Friday the 13th.
Oh my God.
I know nothing about Jason. I don't even know. Freddy Krueger, is that the one with, there's one's the nails, right?
Yes. Freddy Krueger has the blades on his hand. He wears gloves.
Is he the one in
Sleep
when your dreams?
Yes.
Or is that Jason? Because I was confused because the girl thought that she saw Jason in her dream at the end. And I was like, I didn't think that Jason was the one in the dreams, but I don't really know anything about these. So I'm glad we cleared that up while we were on air.
Yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street is Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
Friday the 13th is Jason Voorhees. Halloween is Michael Myers. See, this is why I picked this movie.
But Michael Myers is a real person, too, right? No, it's Mike Myers.
The actor?
Yeah.
Austin Powers?
Yeah. Mike Myers, not Michael Myers.
I mean, his name is Michael.
Is that why he goes by Mike?
I don't know
Probably
why he goes
because
by
he doesn't
Mike.
want people to get... Because then they have the whole, like, Baby Driver confusion.
Yeah, that's exactly... You're exactly right, Elyse. This is why I picked this movie.
Smart move, Mike.
Because
Smart move.
You were on the record as not liking horror movies. So there's a world of slasher films and slasher film culture that you do not know about. And this is one of the original... I mean, of course, Halloween was the first.
This is Halloween. This is...
Halloween was the first one. This movie was actually greenlit because Halloween was so successful. So they said, hey, here's a script about another slasher character that we can do. Of course, this one's famous because the Friday the 13th movies took off from here and Jason became such an iconic character. But again, Jason is not the killer in this movie. Mrs. Voorhees is Jason's mother.
Well, way to spoil it for people.
It's Friday the 13th.
I didn't know that it was the mom.
Well, you've seen Scream, in which they spoil the end of this movie.
I didn't remember that.
And that's the funny thing about this. This is why I really want to talk to you about this movie. And I think we're going to have a lot more to say here than we are about Troop Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, what a thrill.
Because you're coming at these things from the perspective of someone who has never seen any of them, but has been influenced by the pop culture that they have influenced. So you've seen Scream, you've seen Cabin in the Woods. These are meta examinations of the type of things that were established in movies like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. So I'm very curious about like what this seemed like to you, because I came at these movies late too, because my parents were never really into horror films, so I never really saw them until I was older and started like seeking out movies on my own and kind of fell in love with the slasher genre because I think it's so much fun. But I mean, you're rare air of a person that has no knowledge of this outside what you've absorbed from pop culture.
Yes, I'm what you would call an alien to these things.
So, Elyse,
yes,
tell me about Friday the 13th.
So it's predictable. Everybody dies. And, you know, some crazy lady killing everybody. You never go and you should never separate when you're seeing that people are dying. Always stay together. That's what the movies teach you. Always stay together. And never be a boy. Boys always die.
That's why I think it was so enjoyable watching this with you, because you're like, she's going to be the one that makes it to the end. And you were right. And then you correctly indicated every time someone said, I'll be right back. You're like, see, you've absorbed all these things. But in 1980, this was untreaded territory. This was new. The late 70s really started bringing around the slasher thing that didn't get popularized until movies like Friday the 13th. So like these rules weren't things that people knew for sure. But I can understand you coming at it from this angle as like, this is one of the movies that set the rules. So I can see it being very, very predictable.
It was very predictable. But it did have Kevin Bacon. And everybody loves some bacon.
It was one of Kevin Bacon's, I think, his first like named feature-length role in a film.
So
and he got to have
Footloose or post Footloose?
This is pre-Footloose.
Pre-Footloose?
Yeah. And he got to do a whole lot. He got to have sex.
And he got
and then
to
die. Because that's what characters do in slasher
circle of
movies.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun because like one of the slasher rules is you have sex in these movies and you die. And it's funny that rule was taken literal in this, where Mrs. Voorhees is literally killing these sinful teenagers because they were having sex instead of watching her son who drowned in the lake. And so it's like taking that trope and making it literal. Like that was literally why they were dying, is because they're having sex, not because of some kind of horror movie rule that's punishing the lustful teenagers. It's literally the movie punishing lustful teenagers.
But she was crazy.
She was crazy.
Now let's see here. Did I like this movie? I don't really know if I did. It was not necessarily like as scary as I thought it was going to be. But then again, is that because it was so predictable because I knew it was going to happen? Or was it because it really was not that scary? Maybe it just really was not that scary. Now, you did also say that you were interested because I had seen Scream and Cabin in the Woods. Mm-hmm. And again, I had not seen Cabin in the Woods because I was like, oh my gosh, looks like a scary movie. I don't want to watch it. It's a scary movie. Scream was scarier for me than Cabin in the Woods. But that was because Cabin in the Woods was just very meta for,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about slashers to me. I don't find slashers that scary. there are parts of A Nightmare on Elm Street that scare me, but it's more like the trippiness of the crazy shit that happens in the dream.
Because those are the dream ones.
Yeah.
Like the Freddy Krueger and the nails.
Yes.
And the hat.
Yes.
And was that Johnny Depp?
Yeah, he was in the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
See, I know all these things about it. I just have never seen it.
Yeah, but I think there were some really interesting things that this movie did. Like we've joked about at the beginning, the music, the killer, the sounds that were made for the killer was something that hadn't really been done before.
Jaws?
That's what it was taken from. It was heavily influenced by the Jaws noise, because basically they decided that they wanted who the killer was, that it was Mrs. Voorhees, that it was this woman. They wanted to hold that as a reveal. So that meant that you only ever see the killer either from a first person perspective when you're the camera, you are the killer, or they're out of frame. So they needed a way to hint that the killer was there without showing them. And the way they did it was through the score, the music, and the theme of the movie that comes up when you do. No, that's Ferris Bueller, babe. Oh. And so there's actually scenes when, like, there's earlier scenes where you think it's setting up for something scary, but if you're paying attention to the movie, there's that music is not there. Because that's the interesting thing about doing it from a first person perspective, is it kind of cheats you, because sometimes the camera moves as if you're in first person from Mrs. Voorhees' perspective, and sometimes the camera moves like that, but the actor walks right by it, so it's really just the camera. It's not actually there, and it's a fun technique of kind of putting you on your toes. And I know you thought this movie was predictable. I think if you watched this movie when it first came out, you probably would not have thinking it is as predictable as it is, because there are some very surprising kills in here. I think the Kevin Bacon kill is excellent.
Right up from the
bottom bunk.
Bed.
Yeah, like and a piece of blood drips on his head, and you think like there's going to be the moment where he like sees it, gets up, stands up, and sees his buddy dead on the top bunk. But no, it just cuts through all that, and just the arrowhead just goes right through his neck. It's so like, holy shit. I remember just being like, oh shit.
Now I will say, had I watched this movie and I was little and I did go to summer camp, I would have probably been very frightened.
Yeah. I will say, you were there with me, but you went to bed. We went to a thing called Hollow Weekend one year, where we went to a summer camp put on by the Alamo Drafthouse in Texas. It was just a weekend of scary movies, drinking, and camp activities. And they were showing Friday the 13th. And I got to watch Friday the 13th sitting in the mess hall of a camp. And it started like right when the storm really picked up in the movie. It started pouring rain outside. And that was the coolest experience ever, because you're like sitting here in a camp with a bunch of other people watching this movie. A storm is raging all around you. You're gone. You're alone in the cabin.
I went to
sleep. And I'm like, I'm going to come back and she's going to be dead. She's going to be dead.
No.
That's what's going to happen. And it was such a cool experience. Like, I kind of wish you had stayed up and watched the movie with me at that point, because
I would not have been able to walk to the bathroom by myself. It would have scared me probably.
Especially when I'm like hanging out in the shadows.
And let's just talk about that for a second. Like, those summer camps where the bathrooms are detached from the cabin, that is awful. You would never feel as though you were clean. That was the worst experience. My bathrooms are always attached to my cabins.
That's camp, babe.
No. I had cabins that were attached to bathrooms.
Well, I'm sorry we couldn't all go to rich people camp.
Well, you know what? That's what you have in Beverly Hills.
So what else do you want to say about this movie? There have been... Are you going to watch the other ones with me? I want to introduce you to actual Jason.
You mean Saturday the 15th and Sunday the 16th? 14th?
You messed that
15th?
up. You messed that up big time.
I did. I can't count. It's summertime. I don't need to count.
There's so many of the Jason movies I want to show you. Friday the 13th Part 2 is pretty good. And we introduced Jason there. There's Freddy vs. Jason is not good. Jason Takes Manhattan is pretty great. These movies get very ridiculous. They've rebooted Friday the 13th. They did it in 2009, and they're doing it again. And I think 2020 is when the new Friday the 13th comes out.
Here's what we'll do. In October, we will let you do a very scary movie every week, and I will pick a happy movie, like a cartoon.
Okay.
Or things that are like
that sounds good.
Very different.
We'll get A Nightmare on Elm Street out. We'll get Halloween out. I got to go through the classics with you. I got to work on you.
Okay. We'll figure out a name
a lot
for
of
this.
slashers. We got a lot of slashers to do. So yeah, that's Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Really, really fun movie.
I really wish that we had a Friday the
best.
13th in May to watch it on. And there's no Friday the 13th in June this year.
Bummer.
I know.
Wasn't Friday the 13th in October last year? That's always pretty cool.
I don't remember.
I think it was. All right.
I don't know. Okay, Scott, what do you want to do for next week?
Next week, I was thinking it was high time we got some revenge.
Why?
Revenge.
Why do we need revenge?
I don't know. There's a movie coming out tomorrow called Revenge that I saw at Fantastic Fest. That's about a woman who is...
You've already seen it?
Yeah.
If you've already seen it, then why are we going to see it again?
Because I want you to see it. Anyway, the point is, that movie gave me an idea to do a revenge movies. And...
every time you say that word in next week's episode, you have to say it like that.
Okay.
Every single time.
Elyse, what movie did you pick for a revenge week?
None other than the First Wives Club.
Now,
a group of women who are seeking revenge on all of their husbands.
Now, here's why I'm going to allow this.
Because it's Diane Keaton and Goldie Hawn.
First of all, I've never seen First
and
Wives
I forget
Club.
who the other two are.
I've never seen First Wives Club, so
I'm
that's
gonna wear
why
my
I'm gonna
white
allow it.
suit
But
and dance.
I will allow this because this is such an Elyse answer to the question. You are the only person in the world that I know that when I say, Elyse, pick a revenge movie to talk about, you're going to pick the First Wives Club. The only
it's not
person.
the only revenge movie I could think about, but you
it's
know
the
what?
one
I just
you
love
picked.
it. You haven't seen it.
It's the one you picked.
It's got some sentimental value to me. And you know what? Like, you're going to allow it. It's vow to view. You have to do it if I pick it. No allow this or allow that.
I thought long and hard about this one, Elyse, and I kind of went.
Did you know?
I kind of went back and forth. I first wanted to show
this movie called Revenge.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that. I don't think.
I thought we were going to go see it.
Well, I don't. Yeah, but that's not the movie I picked.
Oh, okay.
I first wanted to do A Count of Monte Cristo, which is the adaptation of the book.
Never seen that.
I know you haven't. And that's basically a story all about revenge, but the movie's not very good. The book's better. So I went back and forth on
Jesus in that movie?
Yeah. Jim Caviezel.
Yeah.
It was pre-Jesus.
Ah, BC.
I'm bad at myself for laughing at that. So here's what I picked. I picked John Wick, but you've already seen the original John Wick. I have. Ergo, we're going to watch John Wick Part 2, which is a movie that I loved so much. I love the first one. You've seen the first one. So we're going to, and you've never seen John Wick Part 2. So we are going to watch John Wick Part 2.
That's great. And then maybe we'll get to go see that movie that I thought that we both hadn't seen. So I was kind of excited about us both having something that we haven't seen. But you know what? No, it's fine. It's fine. Only one person has seen it again.
You know what they say about revenge, babe?
What do they say? What do they say about revenge?
It makes for a good movie. And that is all we have time for this week. If you like this show and all the other stuff we do, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Where else are we on, Elyse? We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Play. We're on YouTube.
The YouTubes.
We're on
the Overcast.
Anywhere else you can find
I say the
podcasts.
Overcast, but don't you always correct me? And it's like, that's just a
Yeah, that's just a catcher. It's not.
Yeah.
We're not actually on it. You can find us on there, but anywhere you can find podcasts, basically, we are at. You can subscribe to us and make sure you never miss an episode. You can go to patreon.com/Daily Planet Films if you want to support us. You can donate $1 a month or whatever else you can afford and help us out. Help us keep making shows. Help us pay for the cost of seeing these movies and hosting these podcasts and all this fun stuff. And lastly, if you will please leave us a rating and a review over on Apple Podcasts. Elyse wants to read them. She wants to read them, and you're not doing it. It makes her sad. She cried to me the other day. It's good, babe.
If you don't write them.
That's good, babe. All right, Elyse.
That was really hard to do.
Elyse.
What?
I love you.
Hey, I love you too. And you know what else I love? Rap battle.
It's time for the rap battle!
Rap battle 2018! Who's the queen or the king? Your vote matters.
There's no vote. There's no vote.
There's always a vote.
Hey Jack, I know you're the pro rapper, but this time I'm making a comeback and it's hot and spicy. Every day I wake up, I come to school, flexing the Lambo, looking super cool. I walk into class, my bag got tons of math, all the A's I got in these days, and all in my report card. It was not that hard, sitting here with my buddy, all we do is study. I walk out of school, still looking cool, and in the Lambo too, and that ends my rap, so everybody clap. Good luck beating that, Jack. You'll need it. Yo. Yo. Wait, I missed. I know what to do
You
with.
gotta talk in there, sweetie.
Some people trying to roast me, but they can't defeat me. They think they're so lit, but their raps are unfit. Could not do anything to me but yourself, aka losing for life. I'm at school with my class, and I can last in the wild with my peers. This is Jack in the hood, and he's feeling really good. My raps are done, and not to be glum. Can't take the heat, so I will take the beat. This your boy Jack, this rap be whack.
This has been such an interesting year. We've had a 5th grade camp field day rain out and a kickball win you've all been talking about. Here, though, is the craziest of all. You've got a teacher, no, she's a rapper who won't let her kids think it was a battle just between them. Oh no, see what you all just didn't quite know with that. I'm here and here's the deal. This rap game's not just between the two of you. You wrote your words, you got your beats, but me, I'm about to take you to the real rap school. Step 1, find your beat, make sure that it is one that will really bring the heat. Step 2, think about the message you want to tell. Now 3, here we've got the really hard job. You write your words, you saw the words, but surprise, it's about the rhythm, not the rhyme. 4 through 9, wait, that just rhymed. Oh no, but there's no more you need to know, cause here's those chimes, which means it's time to say goodbye. So long for now, you've had your year, you're fun, I'll miss you, wish you well. Thank you all for coming. Class dismissed.